I'm gonna be so honest with you. So my ego sometimes can't take it when someone chooses just anything over me, right? But this last situation that I was in particular, this person was one of those users where they like have a girlfriend and they're on and off, right? And it took me to, he didn't tell me this, so I had to figure it out. So so I had to see that I was the person that was just on the little side, and he was like, oh, I'm not with her right now. I'm going to do a little something with you. Yeah. Oh, but she trying to get me back though. Yeah, right? So when I found out that this person was, so, after you find out, then there's a lot of different hits that happen. There's a hit to your ego and all that stuff. And then, with me, the kind of person I am, I'm one of those people that's like, but why? Like, what did I not have that person had that, I thought I was special and da-da-da. So then it hit me. Because in my own, and this is a good analogy. You're going to want to hear this. This helped me, and it could help you. But I just have to share this because this was a breakthrough that I had that I was like, oh, I don't have to take that so personal like that. So this is what happened. Outside of that situation, I've had an iPad that I invested $1,700 into, right? $1,700. Once I bought that, I was so happy to get that. And then I would use it, and I was using the hell out of it. I was doing what I needed to do with it, and I loved it, and I had an attachment, and we had a great relationship until we didn't. And what does that mean? That means that the iPad that I had that I spent $1,700 on would start to suddenly shut off. And at first, it wasn't that big of a deal, but then it was. Then it was a huge big of a deal. I would be in the middle of work and it would just shut off. And then after a while, it wouldn't stay on longer than like 5 minutes without shutting down and restarting, right? So then I went a long time without my iPad, and there was a lot of different excuses as to why I couldn't get things done. And then I finally was like, you know what? I finally moved on from the iPad. And then not too long ago, someone was like, hey, I have a free brand new Microsoft Pro for you. And I was like, oh, really? And I was gifted this Microsoft Pro. And, I was like happy. But I also was like, man, but it's not my iPad. And my iPad has all these images on it. And my iPad just could do so much. And I just did so much with this iPad. Like but the Microsoft Pro, it is brand new. There's surely good use for it, right? But just hang on. There's surely good use of this Microsoft Pro. It's brand new, for God's sake, right? So I still have my iPad. I haven't sold it. I haven't done anything because I have certain pictures. I have certain things on it that I need to at least get off of it before I decide to sell it. And so I've tried many times because I think I know what the issue is, which is I didn't do the ISO update for a long time. And so it's doing that until I could get it, but it's not letting me do it. So I'm like, I'm going to make this work. And every time it doesn't work, I give up. I smack the damn computer. I'm like, fuck. But mind you, I have a perfectly brand new Microsoft Surface Pro that is surely usable, that if I just put the effort in and learn how to use it all the way through, it will do exactly what that iPad can do, and maybe even better. And I see, so with finishing up that analogy, me having to explain that gives you an idea, right? So same with the situation with the guy and the one that keeps going back to the girlfriend. That analogy of me explaining why I keep going back and hoping for the iPad and it's not working, even though there's a perfectly brand new one, it's all because of comfort and knowing what you know about that thing or that person, right? And when I seen it like that, that literally freed me from the land of insecurity and her ego. When I seen it like that, and this was just a few minutes ago, I was like, yeah. When I seen it like that, I'm like, wow, this dude literally disregarded me like that new Microsoft Pro that I've been utilizing. I'm grateful for it, but it's not my iPad. You know, when you put investment and things like that. But the iPad, it's time to let it go. It's time to come into something new and utilize the resources. And I'm sure as soon as, because I'm learning how to use a Microsoft Pro. The difference between me and him is I'll use what I got, and I'll learn it, and I'll learn how to love it, and I'll learn how to fit that thing in my life. Even though I do think about that iPad, and I'm like, damn it, if I could just get the photos off of there, and that might not happen. So ultimately, this is my TED Talks. I just wanted to say that, and hopefully, you know, it helps somebody else too, because that could really mess you up if you don't understand that it's never personal. And just because someone chooses something else over you, first of all, again, it's not personal. People are used to things, people have things, they've invested things in things before you've probably entered the picture. Doesn't mean you should accept that. I'm not saying all that. But just to say that is not reflecting of your worth. And one thing I could say too is, you know, I do have options. I do have people out there. That at this time isn't my focus. And one thing I will always do is let somebody know 100% where I'm at, where I stand. And if someone did enter my life, I would let them know. So that's the difference between me and that person. Not to compare, but just to even see how I would do better. When I feel like when you're done wrong, it gives you the opportunity to choose who you'll be to the next person. I'm Taylor C.Y. Evans, and this was an analogy sweeter than the candy store. Have a pleasant night, and if you made it this far, you're a real life boss. Take care. Also, quick side note. So another analogy from the same thing with the iPad and the Microsoft Pro. So sometimes the iPad does work, Sometimes the iPad will work, and it will work for a certain amount of time, and then it cuts off. And then you have to go on the Microsoft Pro. That also looks like something somebody does. And it might not just be the somebody I'm talking about. Not to say that has been a cycle. It's only been like a one-time thing, but I can very much see that in the analogy of this iPad, where it's like, I know it has this issue, and it never can stay longer than a certain time. So every time it doesn't work, I go and run and get on the Microsoft Pro. Well, don't humans work like that too? Human men and sometimes women, when something working out. Even going back into what I was just saying about it sometimes comes on and then it shuts off. We end up sometimes wasting way more time trying to get something to work when you know why it doesn't work. You waste so much time even just dwelling on it not working. I spent maybe 3 or 4 months doing that. Maybe 3. Just like, it doesn't work, so I can't. And that was very depressing, because especially this year, what makes me feel happy is me flowing and working and being productive on things. And I'm glad it doesn't work, because it led me to start utilizing the library. The library has a desktop computer where I can see very clear. There's a mouse, there's a keyboard, and like, you know, I could say I deeply appreciate desktop computers. Like, I want a desktop computer. Forget these little laptops, MacBook. I'm getting a lot more done on a desktop computer. And the thing is, people don't see the value, especially nowadays, in the library. The library, even just for the desktop computer, is my shit. Like, I get so much done at the library. It's my office until the wheels fall off. And I've always like, not even in this phase, the library has always been my jam. It's always a place of peace for me. And that's just me. And so I think that even with whether I'm talking about, the laptop and the iPad and me not getting what I thought I wanted and me not utilizing the Microsoft Pro, I know that Microsoft Pro will come in handy, and I'm going to treat it fairly. I'm going to make sure it's good. I'm going to treat it with respect from the start. But if it wasn't for my iPad not working, the amount of work that I'm getting done now would never have gotten done if I kept waiting and kept kept with the excuse and kept being stuck on my iPad not working. So that's another thing. And I'm going to post this. And because I'm like, that's some real growth right there. That's some real growth. So I'm forever winning when I reflect and I validate myself and I share my experiences when I understand them openly. That's what's winning. If you get rejected or anything like that, that's all that is a redirection. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay.